Hey guys, welcome. It's time to start Bollox Talks and Tangents. It's Thursday at 6:34. And in case you were watching the Mike Davis show and I was wearing a different shirt, I wore an orange shirt last week. I forgot to check. I usually check Thursday mornings, but we got up at like 4:30 this morning and I didn't check. And I put on the same shirt I wore last Thursday. So now I have a different shirt on.
There you go.
So, but I'm not topless.
No.
So, all right. Blake is itching his belly button, which is making everyone uncomfortable in the studio.
Oh, my goodness.
But welcome in, guys. Exciting show tonight. We're doing a show, and if we're not here tomorrow, you know one of these organizations came and got Lenny and I. Blake, I think you're going to be okay, but we're not promising anything at all.
Oh, how too bad.
Don't answer your phone.
We're doing agencies, intelligence agencies around the world, the history of those, which ones are considered the best, the worst. We have some word origins. Mine has nothing to do with this because I was going to do the word spook.
Okay.
And the origin sucked. So I decided not to do that. And I'm going to throw you a baseball one because we're coming to the end of baseball season. In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm throwing down all my notes at my feet. I do research every once in a while. Lenny, tell the nice people what we're drinking tonight.
We're drinking Uncle Nearest tonight.
All right. I haven't tasted it yet.
Cheers.
Have you already tasted yours?
I've already finished a bottle.
You did it.
I finished a bottle of this already.
Before the show? When the show started?
Well, I have an Uber outside, so I'll be okay. Uncle Nearest Green.
Okay. Yeah, that's more of a whiskey than a bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's Tennessee.
It's
sipping whiskey.
It's got a little bite.
Yes, yeah, it does. It can be a little hot.
It got a little bit right here. Right here, Bert.
But Uncle Nearest
Good flavor.
was the first black master distiller in the United States.
Okay.
And he was the gentleman who taught, drumroll please, Jack Daniels how to make whiskey.
Well, I know it was from Tennessee because the 3 stars up here on the, whatever you call where the spout is. But
The neck, yeah.
The neck. The neck, I guess. That makes the most sense. I'm new here.
That's right.
But it's 1856. Is that when he did it? It was before the Civil War. Was he still a slave when he did this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And his name was what? Uncle Nearest?
Uncle Nearest Green.
Uncle Nearest Green. His first name was Nearest.
I think his first name was,
But Uncle Nearest taught Jack Daniels
how to make whiskey.
So was he from?
Nathan Nearest Green?
Nathan Nearest Green. Was he from Lynchburg also?
That I do not know.
Let's see if it says on the bottle.
It doesn't, but there you go.
All right.
That's he. It's not going to help our friends at home, but
yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's which one is he? I'm just joking. All right. We got to talk about our amazing sponsors. Our amazing sponsors. Speaking of whiskeys, no place better. St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits. And when I say no place better, they're number 1 in the country. Can't beat them. Yep. Nobody's better. All right, we're not lying about that.
No.
Also, Meehan's Irish Pub. Reggie and the gang over there, wonderful people. They just take great care of you. Have amazing whiskey selections themselves.
Oh, very good.
A great wine selection, amazing food, the oyster bar upstairs,
so
music out back. I mean, it's like its own little Disney World for adults.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, and great food for kids and an amazing view.
That's it. You get up on the porch up top, and you got a beautiful view of the bay. I may have mentioned this before a couple times, but I was actually up there, timed it out, was there for a rocket launch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fabulous because you're sitting up there, you're having your cocktail, and you can see the rocket go by.
Mm-hmm. It's not a terrible place.
No, not at all. Oh, there's nothing terrible about that place at all.
Like, where do we go for rocket launches? It's not a terrible place, is it?
We go to the top of the Treasury Building.
Oh, well. It's good to know somebody.
I'm telling you right there, that's the spot.
Okay.
That's the spot. And but you don't have the same group experience that you do at the oohs and the ahs. I think that one of the best things about a rocket launch is watching it with someone who's never seen one before. Yeah. I think that is the coolest thing because they have no idea what to expect. And when boosters fall off and stuff like that, they didn't realize you could see that all the way from
coming
here
back
to
down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you can see them.
Yeah, we walk down to the end of our street and go onto the beach and watch it there. And it's different because if you watch it on the beach, you kind of miss it. But if you watch it from the ramp over, you can see right from ignition.
Okay.
And follow them up. If you're on the beach, sometimes you can't quite catch the ignition, and then you got to wait a second till it goes up. But yeah, it's great. And then you got to figure out which way it's going, whether it's going east, west, north.
Have you ever went down there for a lunch?
To Titusville, to Cape Canaveral?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm all
we did. We thought about we almost got there a little bit closer, but we were a little bit late, and it closed off the bridges.
Yeah, we were about 4 or 5 miles away.
Yeah. But no, we were actually 10 miles away. We were at the Max Brewer Bridge.
Okay, so I mean, but we were up on the bridge and we could see everything. It was actually the perfect.
You didn't feel a rumble that far away.
We did.
Yeah, you felt the rumble, and
we actually heard the sonic booms when
the coolest thing was how long it took the sound to get to you.
Yeah.
Like you could hear it, but it was already halfway up in the air before it actually the delay of the sound, I think, was the coolest thing, being that close.
Yeah, but I personally think, like, since when we went there, it was a SpaceX launch, so they had the boosters land back on the launch site.
That was cool.
Yeah, then all of a sudden you have like so you see like the booster coming back, the flame lit to slow itself down, then land. Then you hear the sonic booms go off. That's honestly the coolest part right there.
Yeah. No. It was really, really cool. All right. That's enough about me, Hans.
Right.
We went off on a tangent during our reads.
Right.
All right. Aver Kresge and Associates. They're simply the best CPAs in town. Billy, I talk to him almost every single day. You know, that tells you what a great accountant is. He talks to me every single day.
How much trouble you're in.
No, it's just the fact that he takes my call.
Right.
You know, no, but he does our nonprofits. He does my business setups. He does my businesses. He does my personal. You know, Aver Kresge and Associates, they're the best in town. And if you think you can save money by doing your own taxes, you're wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that. Call the professionals. They know what they're doing. All right. St. Augustine Pirate Museum.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know what today is? It's Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Talk like a pirate day.
Scurvy dog.
I don't know which language I was talking. So
pirates were multilingual.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they were.
They're a band of their own. Mm-hmm. Many multinational, multi-ethnic.
And a lot of people don't realize how many runaway slaves were pirates.
Sure.
There were women that were pirates.
A couple of them, for sure.
And you know, in that golden era. Mm-hmm. Is it era or era?
We'll go with era, because if it's an error, you drop the ball.
Okay. Era. But wouldn't it be spelled E-A-R? If it's an era?
Well, it depends on your pronunciation.
Okay, that's why I'm at.
Look, I can't spell. I don't spell.
Like, is it era or era? We're gonna go with what you say.
For like, so I'm gonna say I normally spells like ERA for era.
Is
like
it era,
like
you're saying era.
You're
saying era.
All right. Wait, hold on here. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
That should be the arbiter.
All right, we're letting her decide everything these days.
Yes, we are.
All right.
Apparently, she's calling plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
It is Talk Like a Pirate Day, and we want to celebrate with the Pirate Museum. They're amazing. They have over 800 artifacts. Get over there and go see them. All right, Kaiser's Deli and Market, wonderful food, wonderful people. Stop in, ask for the Bollox, ask for half turkey, half pastrami. I think that's the way to go, and have it pressed.
And there will be a warning, but I will be making a guest appearance there next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So next Thursday, I can bring dinner home from. I can bring us lunch from. I can bring us dinner from.
You can bring us our own personal Bollox and a white street for Blake.
Yep.
All right. All right, and last but not least, give me a call, Coquina Coast Realty, commercial, residential, rental properties. If you want me to manage your business, let me know. I'm there for you.
Yeah, because you need another feather in your hat.
That's what I need. I need another job.
You got a little free time.
What did you guys think of Mike's bio on me? I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
I thought it was very, very loving.
Yeah, I thought
loving and complimentary and accurate.
It started to spiral in the middle, and I was like, oh, we're going down, and then he brought it back, and it was very caring.
Yep.
But he left out. he left out our blended family and some of the key people in my life. So
well, think of it this way: consider yourself winning an Emmy and forgetting to mention your spouse and your parents.
Oh,
that's all.
That's something I could see myself doing.
Am I actually key dad or?
Yeah, I would say you are at least for the last 23 years.
Okay.
I don't know you and your brother. I mean, I can't consider. I don't know who would be more key than you and your brother in the last 23 years.
Blue?
No, Blue's only been around 7. So you're winning.
Look at you! You got standing over the dog.
You're winning on longevity.
Okay, that's not helpful.
Hang on, but if we do Blue in people years, he's out.
At 49.
Exactly. You were so close, Blake. All right.
Yeah, you're still winning that one, buddy. All right. It's time to get into it. Word origins.
Okay.
What did you do for word origins? Or because mine is nothing related. Is yours anything related to?
Of course it is.
All right. So I looked up, and I was on a time crunch. I had a ridiculously crazy day today. Mm-hmm. Maeve is doing great for those people that,
right,
and thank you for all the texts and the people that asked, and because I missed the morning show today. She had a minor procedure, and we call her Brave Maeve now. She's just a rock
Don't
star.
Don't encourage her.
Yeah, she's just a rock. Oh no, she doesn't need it.
That's what I'm saying.
She's our Brave Maeve. But so happy that went well, and thank you for everybody who reached out. Had a rough day yesterday at the city HARB meeting. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some further comments about that, but it was a rough one.
Okay.
It was one of those where appointed volunteer boards sometimes overstep.
Get a little.
And I feel like that happened yesterday on multiple levels. But we had to deal with that, and then we met with the Speaker of the House, wonderful man, Paul Renner. Mm-hmm. He's been in the House of Representatives for us for 9 years over in Tallahassee. He's part of one of the main reasons and the drivers of the money we received for purchasing Veterans Village. Right. His schedule finally allowed him to get there and see where he put good money, and he's been so busy, he didn't realize we had already placed 19 veterans.
Wow.
So we're so happy you came, but we have 4 rooms that are down. We're trying to get money from the repairs that has already been allocated to us, and we're trying to get that released from the state so we can get those 4 rooms available. Mm-hmm. So we have multiple rooms. We have 7 people still on a waiting list. That waiting list could go away if the money was let go from the government side.
Are these single rooms, or they have to bunk up? Okay.
No, they're single rooms.
Good.
They're single rooms. So we do have 2 couples.
Well, that's fine.
We do have 2 couples that share space. They're both veterans.
Okay.
All 4 of the 2 couples are veterans.
Everybody served.
So everybody served. So we're trying to do the best we can, but it hurts my heart.
Man.
Hurts my heart that we can't take care of people we know that are in need because it gets caught up in governmentese. And that's one of the things we're trying to release. And the speaker gave us his ear, and we felt like we hit his heart, and hopefully something happens with it. So we're excited about that. All right. So I didn't spend a lot of time on my word origin.
Well, you had a busy day.
And I usually have a little bit of a break between the 2 shows.
Right.
Didn't get that. So I'm going to use one, and I'm going to use one that's I know the reference to because it's a baseball thing.
Sure.
And baseball been
very, very good to me.
Very, very good to me.
And you got a little insulation on that wild card.
Yeah. No, it's because of the Reds.
Well, they helped. Yeah, you rolled over for us. Thank you very much.
No. We took out the Braves yesterday for
I know,
you.
and I appreciate
Not yesterday,
that too.
2 days ago.
Yeah, but unfortunately, yesterday and today was not very good.
We lost today too.
15-3.
Whoa!
And now, unfortunately, my dad put in a bet earlier this year where we're basically the Reds have to win 82 games this year.
They had to play 500. I put that bet in January.
Yeah.
No, I put it in the spring. It was like March, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I put it in March in Vegas when I was there. I was like, okay, they're going to play 500. So they were going to be about 5 games under 500. I lost the bet.
Now, hold on. Now, you still have a chance. You still have a chance.
Still a week to go.
But you still have to win all the rest of the games now.
We got to win 7 in a row.
8 in a row.
Well, you're not playing the
Don't
Mets.
make it worse. right.
A little hot streak here.
So I decided to do a baseball reference because baseball playoffs is coming up. One of my favorite times is baseball playoffs. I'm enjoying football season, but now my quarterback's hurt, so I'm not enjoying it as much on the pro level. My college team's looking good. So baseball, southpaw. All right. You understand what a southpaw is.
I do.
Blake, you understand what a southpaw is. Correct?
Hold on. Let me hold this microphone in the right hand. Yes, I do.
All right. He's holding the microphone in his left hand.
There you go.
All right. A southpaw is a left-handed pitcher. And do you have any clue of where a southpaw actually came from?
I used to know this at one point in time, but I'll let you elucidate it, Mr. Baseball.
All right. And before there was lights in baseball, you would have to configure a baseball field where the sun was not directly in the batter's face. All right. And the most ideal situation, if a left-handed pitcher was throwing from the mound, his left hand would be coming from the south or towards the south. So the configuration of baseball fields all kind of matched up at that time before there was lights because of the way the sun set and different things. And that is where the term southpaw came from. A beat writer, I believe it was a beat writer in Chicago in the early late 1800s, used the term. And it just happened to be, well, he's facing the south, and he just kind of was like, okay, I'm going to call him a southpaw. Okay. And it took off in sports writers, and it became, southpaw, supporting
the kind of lefty,
supporting the Chicago Nine, and that's where it came from. Yeah. It was just had everything to do with the configuration of the ball fields at that time. Because right now it doesn't matter as much because you play night games, and the stadiums block most of the sun and all that stuff. Those didn't exist in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and that's where it came from.
Very good. Which then now goes for pretty much any lefty.
Well, and now it even includes like boxing. A boxer's a southpaw, but it came from baseball in the configuration of the ball field.
Yep.
So,
all right. Seeing as we're delving into espionage agencies, spy services, and spooks in general, I chose the word espionage.
Woo!
There you go.
Ow.
Spelling it a while. The practice of spying or using spies to obtain information about plans and activities, especially of a foreign government or a competing company, as in industrial espionage. And it first appeared in about 1793 from the French for espionage, or Middle French for espionner, which is to spy.
Okay.
And that's where that comes from. And now we're going to get into some serious espionage. All I'm saying is,
it's all French to me.
Don't fuck with the Israelis, man. Just don't. First of all, the whole comeuppance of the horrible Holocaust is never forget. Believe me when I tell you, the Israelis never forget. Man, oh man, they play a long con. I mean, look what's going on. First,
would you
pagers, now walkie-talkies.
Yeah,
but you know what?
You don't poke the bear.
No. But I did some looking up because Mossad is they don't screw around. And if you cross the Israelis, they're writing your name down and they're waiting on you.
Yeah.
It goes back to the 60s where they spent time and they, when they started hunting all the Nazis, Simon Wiesenthal and those people that would be Nazi hunters.
They were spending a lot of time in South America.
Yeah. Well, 1960, they went down there and there was a good movie, and I don't remember the name of the movie, but they went down there and, Adolf Eichmann, who was, part of the creator of the Final Solution, which was the eradication of the Jews, among other people that the Nazis deemed inferior. He was, minding his time. He got while the getting was good and ended up in Argentina. And they finally went to Buenos Aires, and they kidnapped the sucker, brought him home to Israel, put him on trial, and 2 years later, they hung his ass.
Gone.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't play games.
But it's interesting because, and the same thing with the Black September people that killed the Israeli athletes.
Yes, in 72.
Yep. And they waited a little while, and they went and they got all of them too.
Yeah.
And it was called the Operation Wrath of God. avenge the death of the 11 Israeli athletes. They had a hit squad codenamed Bayonet, and the last one they got, and this is a precursor that people should have been paying more attention. Somebody posed as an Italian journalist to interview one of the Black September planners of this operation. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the guy was living. It may have been in Rome. And they set up a phone interview with him. And, they knew where the guy was living. So somebody from Mossad, or one of the hit squads, got into the guy's apartment. He was an explosive expert. And they rigged his telephone. This was in, I have the year there. I'm not quite sure when, but they rigged his telephone so when the fake reporter called up, and once he said, yes, this is who you're speaking to, I'm him, they hit a remote control and they blew his ass up from the telephone in his house.
From his own phone.
Yep, where they had already secreted a bomb in there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand. I mean, these guys became a country. Because of what another country basically did to them.
Yeah.
And, they took back space that was originally theirs, and it was recognized after World War II. And they're in a region where all their neighbors hate them.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you got to have strong intelligence to protect your own. To protect your family.
Absolutely. But what amazes me is the long game or the planning that they're doing. Mm-hmm. First of all, it was probably the Israelis that explained to Hezbollah that, be careful. The Israelis can break into your cell. And the Israelis can, because every time an iPhone that, impenetrable.
Yeah.
Who do you call? You call the Israelis, and they can break into your phone in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
They were the first people to be able to crack and jailbreak iPhones and,
Or any 6-year-old.
Well, fair point.
Yeah.
But, because there was phones that were locked that they needed information out of, and the United States government couldn't do it. Britain couldn't do it, and they
You think the United States and Britain couldn't do it, or they were just like, yeah, the Israelis got they got the bigger balls, let's let them do it.
Maybe.
Yeah, let them do it.
Yeah, I think it has more to do with that. Like, Israelis hold my beer. And that's how that's where they're at. They're you kill one of us, we're killing 12 of you.
Oh, yeah.
See how the math works out for you.
Right.
And they're serious about it.
But how long?
Because their opponent's not caring about civilians.
Right.
So they're like, you know what? You started this. You poked us.
Well,
and
eye for an eye is the Old Testament.
Yeah.
What fascinates me is the long game and how they could. Mm-hmm. We're talking contemporaneous. I mean, this is as topical as yesterday. Rig all those pagers, and put explosives in the pagers, which were made in Taiwan. And I haven't figured out the article. I haven't read the articles enough to find out how Hungary got involved in this, because I guess they transferred them through Hungary.
They were a retail pass through, so they were a retail pass through Hungary. And that's where the pagers came through that retail side. So I'm sure they were sold. Is that
where they got?
Yeah, they were sold to a wholesaler or something like that with predisposed numbers in them. And when they found out, okay, this person has this one has this one, they were able to dial it up from wherever they were from and just made it happen. Because all these other ones are, just think how many are already out there that are never going to go off. Because they're not going to trigger it, because they're going to say that person is not a threat.
Right.
That's how deep that intelligence is going.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And then, so they do all the pagers, and then they went to the walkie-talkies the next day?
Yeah.
The organization you have to be able to secret explosives in these pieces of technology is fascinating.
Yeah, but if you're in those,
by the way, it's technology that
areas,
people stopped using in the 1970s.
I was going to say
cocaine deals.
I was going to say, if you're in those areas, do you stop using the walkie-talkies, and do you stop using pagers simply because of this?
Right.
And cell phones. I mean, because they've obviously got into it. All right, I have 5 listed over here. All right, if you can give a glance over here, which one do you think you would like to talk about next?
Who's Space Delta 78?
It's Space Delta 18.
Okay. That's the one I'm not familiar with.
And I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
I wasn't either.
Okay.
All right. and it is part of the Space Force. The Space Force has their own intelligence agency. All right. Delta 18, the United States Space Force unit that serves the National Space Intelligence Center, NSIC. It is headquartered in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. Activated June 24th, 2022.
Okay.
All right. Has 350 personnel.
Okay.
All right.
That we know of.
Yeah, that admit to it, exactly.
Well, it says expected. That means they don't know how many is actually there.
Right.
Commander Colonel Marcus Starks is the commander. Deputy Director is Cheryl Richmond. All right. I didn't know this existed at all. These are secret agencies I didn't know existed at all. All right. It was ordered by Chief of Space Operations John W. Raymond. And it basically does analysis of squadrons. It's kind of keeping the eye in the sky.
Well, there's, if you look at United States spy agencies, there's like 12 of them. Maybe even more. I mean, every branch of the military has their own military intelligence. Mm-hmm. And, you've got the CIA, you've got the FBI, you've got... But the one that I get the kick out of is the National Reconnaissance Survey Center. Mm-hmm. And those are the people that control the satellites. And they do their own translation of the information. Yeah. And they're probably the least known, or one of the least known, that probably has some of the most clout in intelligence services. Because they can retest satellites and do that whole shooting match stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Blake, can you pull up the symbol? And I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Can you pull up the emblem of the National Air and Space Intelligence Center? All right. And what it uses is it uses the Sphinx, the ancient Egypt symbol of wisdom, knowledge, and the challenges of the National Space Center will solve it with the pride. So it's using the Sphinx as its logo. I'll show it to you as he's working on it.
Cool.
So I saw the symbol first, and I was like, "Oh, okay, is that Egypt?" No, it's R.
Egypt is like the Mukabarach.
Yeah. So, and it's really, really wild. I don't know of people that even know this thing exists.
That the Space Force has their own.
The Space Force has their own.
Right.
There it is, right there. Yeah.
Well, but I mean,
it's a cool symbol.
The Marines have their own. Navy has their own. Mm-hmm. The Army has their own. The Air Force has their own. So they're all. When you get into these territorial pissing matches that you see on TV shows with local law enforcement, with the FBI getting involved in it, it's the same thing in military intelligence. Nobody wants to share information, which is really exceedingly counterproductive when time is of the essence. It's like, why can't we all just get along and share the information in-house? You don't have to share it with foreign nationals, but it's wacky.
Yeah. I can tell you it has a website. It's had 2 commanders already. Colonel Marcus Randall was the first one. Mm-hmm. He just retired June 28th of 24, and he's a colonel. He was a colonel in the Air Force, and I'm going to tell you right now, he's a guy you don't want to mess with. New guy's only been in for 7. They didn't even put a picture of the new guy.
Okay.
He's only been in for 70+ days. So
maybe it really is a spook. He don't have a picture on file.
He doesn't even have one.
Yep.
Maybe not. He exists. All right. So what are some of yours I have to choose from?
Well,
usually Lenny has 9,000 things written over there.
We were involved elsewhere. I'm the one that impresses me is the Research and Analysis Wing, which it started in 1968.
Yep.
And that's that small little country that has a couple of people called India.
Yeah.
And that grew out of intelligence failures of the Sino-Indian War and the Indian-Pakistani wars. And they handle everything, including security of India's nuclear program.
So it started in the 40s or 50s? When
68.
68, okay.
68. And, one of their biggest projects was Operation Smiling Buddha.
Cool.
And that was the secrecy of India's first nuclear test program. So that was Operation Buddha was the whole secret of them doing their and the Americans were very, very harsh and wanted India to not do their tests. because they had dug a couple of tunnels in some part of the north of the country, and they tested it on their own property. We go out and do it in the middle of the freaking Pacific we irradiate a couple of islands here.
Yeah.
Bikini Atoll and stuff like that. But yeah, and they're supposed to be some serious shit there, the Indians.
Yeah, and it started, and this is why I kind of had to grab my notes, because I thought it started earlier. It did start with the IB, the Intelligence Bureau.
Right.
And that started all the way back in 23, and then it became the RAW after that. Right. So I was like, okay, I think it started a little earlier, but it was the RAW from 68 on.
The interesting thing is I got a list of the top 10 intelligence services, and it was annotated with like their biggest operations. That's where I got the Eichmann thing and the exploding telephone from the Munich guy. But it was interesting to see that the Indian spy service was integral in the creation of Bangladesh.
Okay.
So a lot of these, fomented, like what we used to do in Central America all the time, go down there and, topple a government with a coup because, the banana people were unhappy in the banana republics. But, it was the creation of Bangladesh as opposed to somebody that was involved in a coup in Libya, which was MI6.
Yeah.
MI6, figure go one way. So MI6, which is the military, the Secret Intelligence Service, is the catchphrase for all the British spy services. MI5 is their domestic branch, like our FBI.
Yeah.
MI6 is their CIA for their international stuff. They've been around since 1909, and those are the guys that cracked the Enigma code during World War II. What
was that gentleman's name?
That was Alan Turing.
Turing, yeah. A sad story.
Of course, because he was homosexual, and
sad
until the
story.
60s, it was illegal to be gay.
Well, what was the movie? Great movie.
That was
Blake, do you remember that movie?
It was Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Cumberbatch played Turing.
It was
and just did a brilliant job. Wonderful movie. I can't think of it. If somebody
fact checking.
Somebody in our comments knows the name of that. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
All right, so the RAW basically sprung out of Indira Gandhi's administration.
Yep, for sure.
But it clearly had everything to do with the conflict of '65 with Pakistan.
Oh yeah.
So
the Imitation Game.
What was it?
The Imitation Game.
Imitation Game.
Right, because they screwed up a lot of the information with the war with Pakistan.
Yeah.
And the skirmishes with China up on the northern borders.
Mm-hmm.
So she got pissed and created these guys and said, go, go, go.
Yeah, the Chinese and Pakistani borders is where this kind of really set it into place. And a lot of people, India has, I think, 1.6 billion people. They're projected in 20 years to be the most populated country in the world.
Are they second to China now?
They're second to China.
Okay.
They're second to China, and I think its projection is 25 to 30 years. China has the rules about limiting childhood and some of those things.
They're backing off of that because that screwed them.
Yeah, because it's really passing them up.
Yeah.
So, but what they did for the 20, 30 years where they had the one-child rule has affected their population growth, and India is going to pass them.
Right.
India is clearly going to pass them, no matter what China changes at this point. India is going to pass them.
Well, it's tough to catch up like something like that. But China realizes they made they made a very bad misinterpretation of the reality of it, because now they're raising the retirement age for men and for women. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, you used to be able to retire earlier in China when you had a lot of people, and now they keep raising the retirement age for the people in China.
All right, and Blake, you have it up there right now. I just lost it. China's at 1,416,000,000 and change, and India's at 1,409,000,000.
A mere seven.
They might catch them in the next 2 years.
Next half an hour. At this rate.
And third is at 336. We're that far behind.
Yeah,
we're third in the United States.
We're 1.1 billion behind them.
Yes,
that's a big drop off.
Yeah, that's a huge difference there. But that's how important this organization is, which also could be one of the most powerful intelligence agencies CIA is ranked number 1 still,
Right.
As far as the ranking goes. But we talked about, and I stayed to the popular ones.
Yeah.
I thought Space Delta 18 was interesting,
Well,
so I
fun,
threw that one in. But I think let's talk about our sponsors real quick, and then I want to talk about
matey, because it's Talk About a Pirate Day.
Talk Like a Pirate
So
Day.
go to the Pirate Museum.
First thing I got to tell you is check out Coquina Coast Realty. These mateys know everything you need to know.
You scurvy dog.
For you land lovers. All right, give them a call, 904-669-7901. All right, Kaiser's Deli and Market. Get over there. You're going to see celebrity chef Lenny Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. All right, get over there. Go see Kaiser's. If you haven't been there, get your butt there. It's amazing. Yeah. All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. So Maeve and I went there last week. We had an amazing time. We absolutely love it every time we go. And I'm telling you, you will enjoy it. Each time you go, you'll see something different. Blast off the cannon's always fun to do.
Ooh, yeah.
And just enjoy yourself. They also have the Colonial Quarter, the old Spanish Quarter, Bull and Crown, Taberna, St. Augustine Seafood Company. These guys are one of the most integral parts of St. Augustine, and definitely probably one of the biggest impactors on St. George Street. All right, Aver Kresge and Associates, the best CPAs in town. Give Billy a call over there at Aver Kresge and Associates. Meehan's Irish Pub. If you haven't been there, you haven't eaten their food, you don't know what you're missing. Check it out.
I think John Meehan was a little bit of a pirate.
Yeah, he might have been.
Yeah, he was a sailor for sure.
He might have been.
I think there was a little pirate in John Meehan as well.
All right, and what's in a lot of pirates is a lot of spirits. And Citygate Spirits, they know how to make spirits right there on Sponsorship Row across from the fort. Get over there, try their tasting tours. Amazing job. Will and his crew over there just are incredible. St. Augustine Distillery, number 1 distillery in
best in the business,
the country.
And it's been proven by others. We say it, but we've been backed up by popular demand.
All right. So the organization which might have the most employees.
They're getting scary. MSS.
You have that on your list, obviously.
I do. They're ranked 7th, believe it or not.
They're ranked 7th in power, but I think they're ranked number 1 in
well, they're spooky.
In staffing. So, in
that's the Ministry of State Security.
Yeah, Ministry of State Security in China. To me, these guys, they're counterintelligence. Some of the stuff that they're doing, their jurisdiction includes People's Republic of China, including Hong Kong and Macau.
And I would also add Chinatown in Manhattan.
Yeah, probably so.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Because you may not be familiar with, but they found out that there were Chinese prisons for dissidents in Manhattan where the MSS would have agents go and kidnap Chinese dissidents or people that were on whatever watch list the Chinese had, and they would throw them in a jail somewhere in Manhattan. And they finally just found that out and said, what the fuck?
All right. The employees that we know of, do you know how many that number is?
Not a clue.
110,000.
Okay.
That's what we know of. Right. I'm sure there's another 3 to everyone we know of.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there could be half a million people that could possibly be working for the MSS.
And I'm not going out on a limb to say a lot of them are in American universities.
I wanted to see what their budget was. You know what the word came up?
Undefined.
Classified?
Classified.
There you go.
Classified. They wouldn't give it to me. So
did you call the Chinese and say, by the way, how much you spending on spying?
Yeah. They actually have a child agency.
Ooh.
For safeguarding the national security of children.
Okay. Because they can't afford to lose any of them.
They have a website. I can tell you.
They have a website. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy.
I don't know if that's a link you want to click on.
Yeah, no. If you're there, you're stuck there forever. But they are a part of the Chinese, and they were formed in 1983. To me, this is the scariest group that's in our list here. And I was thinking about it. Yeah. And the United States because we're such a melting pot, it might be easier to be an agent coming from the U.S., but Chinese people look like Chinese people. That's not a prejudice statement. That's not a bias statement. But Chinese people look like Chinese people. If you say you're an American, you could look like a Chinese person.
Right.
You could look like a Japanese person. But the amount of Americans, percentage-wise, that are in China is much, much lower than the amount of Chinese.
You would stand out a lot
percentage.
More in China.
And I can tell you, I've been to China, and I'm a towering 5'8" on a good day with good shoes, and I was tall.
Get me a plane ticket, baby. I'm going.
You are above average.
Oh my goodness. Well,
you are above average.
Yeah. So right now, China is actually planning on implementing a social credit score check for all of its citizens. It's basically like a normal credit score for us, but instead of having like good numbers for like for paying off our bills, make sure we're properly using our credit cards. It's to make sure that the Chinese citizens are like following their laws and supporting them wholeheartedly. And actually, there's a quiz online that like some American made up where you can actually pretend to take like a quiz to see how good your China's social credit score. Let's see. Do you guys want to try to take it? See how good you are?
No, I don't want to. I don't want my. No, to me, this is a group, that is infiltrating all over the world.
Right.
And it actually started in 1927 as the CCP. Right. The Central Committee, and and then it didn't formally become the MSS until '83. Right. But the growth of this over the last 20 years is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I think to a large degree it still percolates in Russia, but certainly in China, where the secret police. Neighbors are afraid to talk to anybody. Neighbors will rat out neighbors. Like back to the days of the Gestapo and the Nazis, where everybody was spying on their neighbors, or it was they thought they could protect themselves by ratting out somebody else. And I think that it's pervasive in China. Would be my perception, is that it's pervasive in China. I think it's still a little pervasive in Russia with the KGB, which is, by the way, the Federal Security Services. It's no longer the KGB or the GRU, which is the Army's version of their spy service. But, in a lot of those totalitarian or totalitarian adjacent countries, the trick is, rat somebody else out to protect yourself.
Well, and I think you did the top 10 agencies.
Yeah.
All right. So where did the MSS land on that list?
They were, believe it or not, they were 7th.
They were 7th.
After the German BND.
Okay.
Which, for those of you scoring at home, I wrote it down. Bundesnachrichtendienst. It's the BND, the German spy service.
Yeah, I actually went to...
Hold up the note like this in front of your face? Come on.
I got to read it, boy.
Yeah. That's our Lenny.
It's as telegenic as I get. You want the information or you want my face? You know what I look like.
That's our Lenny. But I read some stuff about the German side and like it becoming, a lot of people don't realize how young of a country Germany is.
Yeah.
So Germany didn't become a country until like the late 1800s. Yep. It's actually younger than the United States. People think the United States is a young country. Germany's almost 100 years younger than the U.S. And I don't think people realize that.
Yeah, their spy service started in 1956, and they're big on wiretapping and electronic surveillance. Is what their claim to fame is. But you got, rounding out the top 10, you got Australia at 9, and the French at 10. But the Australians are moving up in the ranks.
So give us 10, 9, 8. Give us the list coming backwards. Do you have that written out that way?
You got the DGSE.
The
DGSI. That's France.
Okay, so that's 9. That's number 9.
That's 10.
Okay, that's
Director
number 10.
for General and Internal Security.
Okay, let's give numbers with this, Lenny.
Okay,
I know you're new on this podcast
I started
thing.
at the bottom. You
I
wanted
know,
the bottom.
but you go number
9.
Have you ever seen David Letterman?
Number 9.
Thank you.
Is the Australian Secret Intelligence Service. They handle the intelligence, foreign intelligence, and they've been around since 1952.
Okay.
8. Inter-Services Intelligence is Pakistan since 1948.
All right, and these what I read about this rankings, because I think I was on the same page you were on, and it's the most powerful in the world by these rankings. Is that the way I read it?
Yeah,
okay. All right. I want to make sure it was the same list.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 is the Ministry of State Security. China, that's been since 1983.
Number 6.
BND, the
Here, I'll
Federal
help you with
Intelligence
this.
Service. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right. Oh, you're going to give an explanation on that, or?
The BND is the German Federal Service, Federal Intelligence Service, the Germans. BND.
All right. Number 5.
Mossad.
Mossad.
They're scary.
Okay.
They're scary good.
Who's Mossad?
That's Israel.
Okay.
That's you don't know? Oh, yeah.
I'm acting like I don't need to know.
Okay, well then you got the Shin Bet.
I don't have enemies there.
Well, that's a good thing.
Number 4
is India Research and Analysis Wing.
Yeah.
From 1968 on.
The RAW.
Yep.
All right. Number 3.
The Ruskies.
Ooh.
The Federal Security Services. It used to be the KGB. Now it's fancy, the Federal Security Services. Mm-hmm. GRU is the military version of it, the Russian Army. Numero duo.
Number 2.
The Secret Intelligence Service of the British government, primarily MI6, which is their international branch, as opposed to MI5 is their domestic branch, or synonymous with the FBI.
Yeah, so MI5 would equate to our FBI.
Correct.
MI6 would equate to our number 1.
Wait, hold on. Drum roll.
Central Intelligence Agency headquartered in Langley, Virginia.
USA.
IA.
That's 1947, and that was it grew out of the OSS. Wild Bill Donovan, who created a spy service for World War II, and it was the OSS, and those were the spies that were coordinating with the French underground and dropping spies into Europe. And Wild Bill Donovan was a wacky guy. He was a wild man, hence the name.
Yep.
And he created the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, which became the CIA.
What is their center called?
It's Langley, Virginia.
Now, what is the name of their center for intelligence? It's named after a president.
Well, now it would be Bush.
George
W.
Bush. Not George W.
No, H.W.
George Bush. George H.W. Bush.
Right, because he was a director.
Why?
He was a director of the
Why
Central
would that
Intelligence
be?
Agency.
There you go. In the 70s, he was the director of the CIA.
Yep.
He's the only president that has been the director of the CIA.
Yeah, Mike Pompeo tried, but he didn't get too far in his presidential ambitions.
No, he didn't.
All right.
But
you know what I get a kick out of is, you're driving on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, and there's an exit for Langley, for the CIA headquarters. There's an exit off of the freaking highway. It's not well hidden.
Right.
Of course, you got to go through a bunch of gates to get to it. And then right after that is the exit for Fort Meade.
The CIA's motto. Are you ready for this?
I am. I'm sitting down.
Are you? It's hard to tell sometimes.
No, I am.
All right. The work of the nation, the center of intelligence. That's it. All right. Their unofficial motto is John 8:32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall
set you free.
Make you free.
Yep.
Shall make you free. All right. We talked about China and how many employees they have.
Yeah.
CIA, it was 110 for China. CIA, take a guess. And I'll let Blake take a guess too.
65,000.
Blake.
What do you want me to guess on?
Glad you're paying attention, producer.
Hey.
I know you're putting in your bets for tonight, so I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, tonight's game sucks.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you don't bet on it.
Is overrated.
That's how you make the game better, is by betting. I'm glad you're not a gambler, because my mentality is
taking this one.
I want to if I want to watch a game that I know sucks, I have to put a bet in, or I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Blake.
Take the Pats.
I told you China's MSS has over 110,000 employees. The CIA, the equivalent of that in the United States, how many employees do you think it would have?
65,000.
That's exactly what Lenny said. So you both tied. So congratulations on that. No one gets a point. It's 21,575.
That's all. Huh.
That we know of.
Right, exactly. That are on the payroll in their own name. What's interesting, though, is the CIA will recruit out of college, and there was some intimation that the CIA would actually recruit out of high school. And then when you get hired by the CIA, they send you to their spy school. So they teach you how to be a spy. They've got their own training facility. And then depending on which direction you go in, then it's levels on levels on levels, because they've got a couple of black ops groups as well. And by law, in theory, because in practice I don't know that I'm necessarily buying it, the CIA cannot operate on American soil. They're a foreign intelligence gathering organization, and they can't do their gigs in the United States.
All right. What I tell you the budget was for China?
It's unknown. It's classified.
Classified.
Yeah.
The United States, and this is as of 2013. No numbers are accurate.
Right.
As of 2013, what would you say the budget is for those 21,000 employees?
That's on the books in the
As
budget?
of 13, 11 years ago. Sorry, I just whacked my microphone there.
I don't know, 25 million?
Blake, what do you think it is?
I'm going to say $3 billion.
$3 billion.
3 billion.
$3 billion. You have 25 million.
Well, on the books.
He has $3 billion.
A lot of slush funds that they can draw out of.
Blake wins this one.
Okay.
All right. The actual number is 15 billion.
Okay.
That we know of as of 2013. So what do you think it might be now?
So my 25 million was just petty cash.
Your 25 million, it might run 1,000 of those 21,000. Might.
It's petty cash.
Petty cash.
Petty cash.
That's paper clips.
Yeah.
Paper clips is what that is. So, all right.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
What else
exactly.
I got back here?
It's crazy numbers. All right, I have one more I want to get to, but I wanted to read this.
Okay.
Do you guys have any fictional like intelligence agencies like the best ones in the best ones in fictional history?
No, but I've got a lot of...
You got to go Shield.
Yeah, you have to go
You got to
Shield.
go Shield as being the number one fictional, in my opinion.
Plus Cobra as well and G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
Right.
Cobra and G.I. Joe. All right, here's the thing.
who are they?
As of 2013, the CIA had 5 priorities. All right? If you guys can name 2 of the 5, I'm going to give you a victory. All right? I'm going to give each of you 3 guesses.
Priorities. They have priorities. Okay.
I think you'll get 3.
American security. I mean, I don't know how to phrase this necessarily.
I'm not giving a point because it's not close. It needs to be a little more specific. All right.
I'm
Clean
going
that up if you want to waste another guess. Blake.
to say safeguarding on national secrets.
I think all of them fall in that. All 5 of them. They're more specific is what I'm gonna give you 2 more chances. More specific chances.
Counterterrorism.
Bing. That's the one. You cleaned up what you were saying. It fell in that category. You cleaned it up. You get a point. All right. Counterterrorism is number 1 of their 5 priorities. All right. Blake. Into the microphone.
I am in the microphone. Hello.
Don't need to yell.
Meow,
Just
meow, meow.
Just
get
hold
huffy.
the microphone to your chin.
I'm going to say covert action.
There you go.
Still too vague. Need to be more specific.
Disinformation.
Disinformation.
There's got to be something that we can massage into that.
Yeah, I think that might fall under one of these categories. Blake, last one. And you tell me where you think disinformation falls. Last guess for you.
I'm going to say stop aliens.
Stopping the aliens. Okay.
All right.
All right. Here are the 5. Counterterrorism was number 1. Number 2 was proliferation of weapons of mass destruction.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yep.
Could fall into the alien thing. Indications of and warnings for senior policymakers. I don't understand that one.
Warnings for senior policymakers.
All right.
Keeping people from being blackmailed?
I don't know. That one I don't get. I don't understand why that's one of our top 5. That one was the most confusing to me.
Okay.
Number 4, counterintelligence. So it basically is like, how do we match up with everyone else that we just matched? All right. And number 5, and I think this is very, very important, and the MSS and these two going at it, is cyber intelligence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So those are the 5 priorities of the CIA.
And I would think of the 110,000 MSS workers, they've probably got 20,000 of them that are sitting in computer farms that are just hacking and hacking and hacking, or writing code, or trying to submit malicious code into the electric grid or the other things that are run and controlled by computers in this country, so that when the Chinese get pissed at us, they don't need an EMP. They just need to put a line of code in there, push a button, and our power plants close.
All right, I have one more I want to talk about, and it's one of the newer ones. Do you have one that you need to get in? We have 2 minutes.
No, I went older. I went to the Civil War and the Revolutionary War for Washington's Culper Ring and the Confederate Secret Service.
All right, the Confederate Secret Service. Do you believe the Confederate Secret Service knows where all the gold went from the Confederacy?
Because somebody did, but I don't know who does anymore.
I think Jefferson Davis and them knew.
Yeah.
Because he worked very closely with that group.
Yeah.
And that gold disappeared.
And a lot of it was in Canada.
Yeah.
Or in England, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
They worked via Canada and England, though they had an operation in Washington, D.C.
All right. This is a group that I think I'm the most afraid of because I think they're the most radical. They really only target 3 other countries.
Okay. Israel, the United States, and...
Nope. Japan, South Korea, and the United States.
Oh, North Korea.
North Korea, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's the RGB, the Reconnaissance General Bureau. And everyone else you get some numbers from.
The Hermit State ain't sharing?
North Korea was established in 2009. That's about the only information we have from them.
Okay.
All right. There's defectors that have come to the U.S. or come to Japan, and we've gotten some information from that. But as far as the nastiest group and a group you don't want to work for, I cannot think of a worse group and a more murderous group than the RGB. Did you read anything about these guys?
No, I forgot about North Korea because I was staying with, like mainstream countries that, exist on the world stage as opposed to the Hermit Kingdom.
Yeah. All right. The foundations of North Korea's cyber operations were built in the 1990s after North Korea computer scientists returned from travel abroad proposing to use the internet as means of spy and enemies and attack on militarily superior opponents. So they specifically targeted the United States and South Korea in the 1990s.
Makes sense.
All right. Even though this organization didn't come to be until 2009. Students were sent abroad to China to participate in top computer science programs. They specifically targeted computers, and that's where their hacking is. So their first department is training and technical assistance. Second department is military intelligence. Third department, signals intelligence and computer hacking. That is their third mission, is computer hacking from North Korea. All right. Sure. The fifth department, there's no fourth department. I don't know why. It goes from third to fifth department to sixth department to seventh department. All right. I don't know why there's not a fourth department.
Well, it is. It's the Black Ops, and they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I guess it's like Fight Club. This deals with foreign intelligence to South Korea. Basically, that's where some of the assassination plots come out of that department. Sixth department is military and policies. Seventh department is logistics. So Bureau 21 is the RGB's main cyber warfare unit. They have a warfare unit just for the internet. So,
I wouldn't doubt that we don't, and that. Well, look, half the hacking's going on, and the Iranians are mad over all this too.
Yeah. So, and they said there was many North Korean spies arrested up until 2017. And then they were like, we're losing too many good people. They went almost 100% cyber after that.
Okay.
You know what their budget is? Oh my gosh, Blake went topless.
Oh my goodness. And
things have went out of hand. I am so glad we don't have a studio camera.
Oh my goodness.
It would have been scary for everyone involved.
Scary for me.
But I'll tell you right now, guys, we appreciate it. This is a fun show. If we're not here tomorrow, you'll know it's because of this show.
Right.
Don't come looking for us because we don't want you guys to disappear too.
Right. We'll be in North Korea.
All right. This is Bollox, Talks, and Tangents. Thank you, Lenny. Thank
Pleasure
you, Blake.
always.
Please put your clothes back on.
Please.
I almost said this is uncommon ground. I'm so distraught right now. We'll see you next week. Share this show. Goodbye.